You're seeing this because you just hit a major personal milestone. And this may not be apparent to you in your 3D world, but it happened internally. For many of you, you have set out on this path to do a lot of inner healing, in particular, healing your inner child. And when you set off to heal this wound initially, you had an idea of what you thought it was going to be like, and the wound ended up being a lot deeper and bigger than you had anticipated. Like, it was like everything from your life was dragged to the surface. Things that you couldn't even have imagined or remembered, everything was dragged to the surface. And it caused a lot of discomfort and a lot of, like, I'm seeing like a pendulum swinging. So there was something, you had to learn balance, essentially, in order for you to move forward in your life. I'm getting that this healing came with you starting a project or you wanting to better yourself in some way, so you knew that you had to go inward if you wanted to see any changes outward. And this ended up being like a colossal project, something that took up way more time and energy than you had anticipated. And for some of you, you may have felt that you've taken a lot of loss because of it, and you're sort of like, why did I even go down this road in the first place? But if you ever wanted more out of your life, you couldn't have gotten to that next stage without going through this one. So it's absolutely necessary. But what you've hit is that this whole year, especially, this year is highlighted because it's been this Saturn year, has felt like repeated cycles on repeated cycles on repeated cycles. If you know, you absolutely know. And what this has caused us to do is to turn inward and look at every aspect of ourselves, like every nuance, every facet of our beings, and see it from a different perspective, a new way, and sort of like to heal absolutely everything. And what has come from this is you've been feeling like you've been, again, this like Four of Lotuses, tossed in the waves kind of energy, where on the one hand, you will be pushing yourself. It was almost like there were two sides of you. The one that feels like you should do things, to get things done, to move forward in your life, to progress. And then there was like the inner child. Both of these are the inner child, but you couldn't realize that at the time. And then there was the inner child that would have a temper tantrum. So it was like every time you tried to accomplish something, to move forward, you would get stuck, hit a block, you'd hit burnout, and your inner child would have like a temper tantrum. So if you felt, there were a lot of like soul callings throughout all of this. So for some of you, there's been like a calling to eat better. And it would be like every time you would do that, you would have like your inner child act up and like want to go like eat chips and candy and sweets and that kind of thing, in a way that it would almost force your hand and you'd have to, because that was part of your inner child healing. And then you would go back and switch to, well, I should be, buying fruits and vegetables. I should be getting like these healthy things type of thing. And it would like flip-flop back and forth. And you've gone through this cycle to eventually like almost, again, like a pendulum swinging, and eventually it stops. And you finally hit the point where it stops. And you can now see that neither side was serving you. That this should was like an inner child wound if you've had a lot of like baggage, or you had to like raise your parents type of thing, dealing with emotionally immature like adults, guardians, all of that around you, where you always had to be the disciplined one as the child, as the young adult, where you didn't get to be a kid. So you operate naturally from this should, even if the should is always the ego, and it's ignoring the soul. And that's why you would have your inner child, that temper tantrum side, act out, because that side of you never really got to express themselves ever. You didn't get the chance to fully be a kid and like, do kid things and have bratty moments, that type of thing. So it's all coming out now. Ooh, a lot of cards came out. And what you have finally seen is that neither one is serving you, and you've come to a point where you can sit inside yourself and reflect and ask yourself, so when the shoulds are happening, if you listen to that and you lean in, that never serves you, because you will always burn out and go to this inner child self-sabotaging, and you're starting to see that both sides are self-sabotage. And now you're able to sit with yourself when either of those emotions come in, and you ask yourself, what is it that I want right now? And instead of hearing the child scream or that you should be doing this, you're hearing your soul, which is like, oh, I want to be the best version of myself. And what does that look like today? And then going forward from there, there's no the shoulds of your ego, and there's no temper tantrum of that inner child. It's you moving in alignment. And why this is such a huge personal milestone is that this is what sets you up for the future success. That you couldn't stand in those rooms that you want to be in or navigate the success that you want to have if you didn't have this inner stability. And that this will also keep you, this is a very powerful position to be in, because it keeps you from being swayed in the future by offers that look good, sound good, things that you think you should do, you listening to the inner child and acting out and self-sabotaging. So it's saving you from like the two voices in your head that were fighting each other have now finally come together and have morphed into this person that is you. You're seeing how neither one of those, where you thought this should person is the one that keeps you safe, and then the inner child is screaming because they've been ignored the entire time. You're actually seeing both for what they are and realizing that neither one is you anymore, and that you are the adult in this situation and know how to parent these voices in your head now. So you can hear one as like, oh, this is the ego, and this is a fear-based response, and this is my child, and this is saying that I need to rest. This is like my warning sign before I burn out. And then you get to decide, like, what is this best version of me, which is actually you now? What is it? Who is it that I want to be? So when you wake up, let's say like you want to start a workout routine, and you're like, oh, I want to get up at 4 a.m. and go work out before I go to work for the day, that kind of thing. And this is especially like if you had a hard time with schedules. You know, you would wake up one morning and you would feel tired, and that should in your head would say, you know, we just started this, we need to keep to this. So you'll drag yourself out of bed and you'll go do it, and like your mindset is crap. And then the next day you wake up and you're tired, and this time, you know, the should is yelling at you, but your inner child is screaming because they're tired and they just want to go back to bed. And now, like, either way, you're gonna have a crap day. So like, you stay in bed and you're mad at yourself for not keeping to your schedule, or you get up and you're too exhausted to have a good workout and you're mad at yourself about it. And you've eliminated both of those options, so that when you do wake up in the morning, you know, and you have the I need to stick to my routine, I need to do this, then you've got the other part of you screaming. You can say, okay, let me evaluate where I'm at now. What can my body give today? And who is it that I want to be today? How do I want to show up today in a way that honors me? And you're able to do this because before you weren't able to keep to a schedule or keep to anything because it was inherently unbalanced and caused burnout. And now you're able to look at it from a more balanced point of view of, okay, like if I'm feeling really tired today, you know, maybe I'll sleep an extra 30 minutes, or maybe I'll get up and I'll do like a gentle workout. But whatever it is, it's all serving you in a more like a beautiful, wholesome kind of way with this life on earth. This is the world card. You've reached this point of completion where you've been tired, and it's time for you to move forward with this Three of Wands into this new adventure that you have wanted to step into, especially with this Entertainer card here. A lot of you have been manifesting being in the spotlight in some kind of way, and this was the foundation that needed to be set before you move forward, and this Ace of Birds is confirmation. So this is your sign that your foundation has been set, and the way is clear for you now to move forward. With my Eight of Trees at the back of the deck, you can move forward and take all these steps towards your dreams. And like the way is clear because you have finally balanced yourself out, and you are finally the person that you need to be to get to this next level. If anything, this is your sign that you have reached the next level, so congratulations. If this resonates with you, let me know. If you'd like your own personal reading with me, you can head to the link at the top of my page. It's in my Etsy shop, and also check out my Substack while you're there.